Hey guys, and welcome to Chaotically Creating. I'm Oliver, and today we will be working on the cover and first page of my new sketchbook. So I started this on September 21st. I don't write down the day that I started it, but I do go back and add it after the video. And unfortunately, the beginning footage I recorded last week also got deleted, so I'm already started working on it. But this week has really been about honing in on discipline and finding motivation to do something when you don't have the motivation to, because motivation isn't what comes. It comes from doing something is you get the motivation, if that makes sense. But I found when I wanted to do this that I had like this, it felt like there's this huge barrier I had to cross just to get started. And, like, I would avoid doing it and want to do all these other things or start another project. And I'm, like, literally have been trying to finish projects instead of start new ones. So that was why I was like, no, I need to get this. This needs to be the video because it is more fun to use the sketchbook when the cover is designed. And, like, especially the inside cover and the outside. It just feels a lot more, I don't know, it's a special experience when there's a cover to it because it kind of feels like there's a little bit of a story that the sketchbook has. So that's why I'm glad that I got this done early rather than some of them just never end up having a cover because of this. So, yeah. And so this week, though, it felt like I finally am starting to get used to the flow of things and how long it takes me to do certain tasks. And the tasks that are newer to me, like editing and script writing, are getting more predictable, and I have less doubts. And I don't want to call them fears, but, like, I have less... It doesn't feel such a daunting of a task, and, like, the mountain is so huge that I have to, like, force myself up it. Like, it's like, okay, I know how this goes. Like, especially with script writing now, having found a process of... I can't write it out word for word. One, that's going to take me forever. But more writing out bullet points. I create like a table with all the little points in there, and then as I'm going, I go off of it. So like all of that just there was just, it was improv, baby. So we're doing a fish spread, obviously. So I felt like I got to throw in some fish facts in here. So we're going to start off with some shark facts, but the earliest fossil evidence of the shark is dating back 400 million years ago. That's before dinosaurs and trees, guys. Like, these creatures are ancient. I watched a documentary about them and how, like, we could really just learn more from sharks from just observing them and just how, like, ancient and wise they are from just existing for so long. Like, I don't know. But you're also more likely to get struck by lightning or in a car crash than killed by a shark. Way to turn the mood around there. But, yep, so there's that. But then shark fins are also one of the largest illicit transnational trades. And specifically with shark fin soup in Asian countries, where it's considered a delicacy. And since the Song dynasty, so this goes back a while. And 73 million deaths of sharks every year from the, like, demand of this fin soup. So remember, guys, fish are friends, not food. That's what it will say in the end. You'll see it. But anyways, so this cover, though, really brings me back to when I first started drawing. Because pretty much one of the first things that I remember drawing is a dolphin, like, at the top of this page. I remember it being, like, one of the guidebooks. I still have it. It's draw really cool stuff, and it's got, like, 5 different divided things in it where you can draw, like, rainforest stuff, insects, cars. It's got a whole section on ocean creatures, so I was obsessed with this as a kid. And I specifically remember drawing this dolphin from this book multiple times, that I had, like, the steps down memorized, and that's just really, like, kind of where, like, drawing started for me. So it's kind of cute that it kind of comes back to this. Same with the orca, that was also in there. I wasn't obsessed as obsessed with sharks as I am now when I was a kid, but now I love sharks. I have shark paintings from college. Like, I got shark slippers, guys. Like, got a shark onesie. Like, it's the full thing. But and even when I was 11, actually, I went on a family vacation to Mexico, and we swam with dolphins. So that was fun. I don't remember much about it other than that the salt water got in my eyes and I didn't like it, and I wish I wore goggles. But it was fun to see the dolphins. I, like, remember, like, the feeling of it, of being in the water, and, like, the dolphin, like, the touch of the dolphin, which was really, like, silky and, like, slippery, which makes sense because of the water. But and then when we went, we would also, with the same family, we would go to Florida, and we would always go to SeaWorld, and it was one of my favorite places. I absolutely was obsessed with Shamu and the orcas, and just, I have so many of the stuffed animals still from there that I collected from the different trips. And my parents don't really like roller coasters that much. They get sick from them. So they really enjoyed the shows that they put on there, and they were so funny. And I don't know, I just love animals. So, yeah. Okay, so this is where we're at, and I think this is where it's gonna be until I use Posca pens. Probably I'm gonna try using them. This texture does not like to take the gouache at all, but this is the most vibrant I've gotten these. And what happens is, like, you can really see it with the dolphin here. When I paint over it, it, like, takes it with it. So I'm gonna come back to the dolphin later probably and try to make the shark a little bit darker gray. But this is what it's gonna be right now. So I'm gonna let it dry and then do the inside cover here. So I'm gonna look up some reference photos first. So yeah, a little sad that it already is starting to peel on the side. So I don't know. This is the Arteza or Arteza. I don't want to flip it all the way over. This brand. And there's all the stickers. So I don't know. I have another one of these. The next one, I don't think I'm going to be using gouache on it. I might try acrylic though. That might actually work. So I could see if the acrylic will cover it and be better than the gouache, because it's not as water-based, and that's the biggest issue that I'm having with the gouache. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to work on the... Alright, we're on to the inside of the sketchbook. So this is my 9th sketchbook, which is insane that we're almost to double digits. We technically probably are if we're counting bullet journals that I have, and, like, journals of, like, writing and stuff, but I'm not. So we're on the 9th sketchbook because I said so. Anyways, I make the dragon. It's a dragon. You'll see it. I make it look like it's a 9 because it's the 9th sketchbook, so I thought that was kind of clever. But it is, of course, related to Book of Life in the sense that the world has dragons, and part of the magic is from the dragons, and there are a lot of gemstone and crystal dragons. So I imagine that this is a gemstone dragon that is deep, deep in the water, the bottom of the surface, with some sunken pirate ship, and of course a treasure chest, which, like, how fitting that a gemstone dragon would be the treasure, right? So she is a nice, like, electric blue lavender. I don't think there's an actual crystal that is this color, but I don't know. I just think the colors are really pretty and suitable for a dragon. I don't have a name for her yet, but I just love dragons, so of course they have to be in there. But they are being, like, kidnapped and mined for their natural resources and magical abilities. So, like, they're kind of going out of, like, that's part of the quest. And, like, the main character is, like, not a dragonborn from D&D because, like, I'm different. But, like, a dragon person thing, human, walking on 2 legs, dragon. So, a dragonborn. But different. But, so the main character is that, and so they're, like, kind of, like, hunted a bit. And, yeah, there's just so much that I have to figure out about it still, and I just love the world-building aspect of it, and the writing. I finished a whole journal last month, and I started on the 8th and finished it on the last day of September, a whole journal of like writing, drawing. I'm using tarot and oracle cards to like kind of let faith like decide the trajectory, so that's kind of exciting with it and fun. But yeah, we got a lot of steampunk, Egyptian mythology, Chinese myth, Japanese. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, so I use gouache for the inside cover again, and then I use gouache and acrylic for this. I show a lot more of the paint mixing process here. I don't know if like that's something you guys are interested in, but if you don't like it, I guess let me know. And if you do like it, let me know, I guess, too. I don't know. Just, I'm going to kind of do a little mix-up of both of it. So I do parts of it where I show it more often in the video and then parts where I don't. But I feel like one of the really hard parts about gouache and watercolor is the fact that, like, you can't get a lot of pigment in one go. And this is something that I'm still really learning how to do, is, like, getting enough of the pigment that, like, I can cover a large area, because like you see here is like I'm using a lot of water now to like still get that like base coat, which I think this technique worked really well, where I like try to get just a really like base coat of at least some of the color, even if it's watered down. And I was able to color match it quite well, even after like I ran out of that like initial batch, so I'm happy with that. But like, I don't know. That's something that I'm still really learning how to do with gouache. And I feel like it's one of the medias that, like, people kind of love it or hate it. And I don't know. It's one of my favorite mediums. And I've had this gouache palette for years. Like, probably, like, 2021, maybe? I don't know. I got it for a gift for someone, and then they already had it. So I was like, well, I guess it's a gift for me now. So here we are. And it's my favorite, and I love the fact that I hate having to always like get stuck by the mixing the paint process, and so I love the fact with watercolor and gouache you can just leave it on the palette and then just come back to it, and you already have this full, not only the like set that comes with it, but now you have all the colors that you have on your tray. And this like palette set is like, I don't know, I really like the color palette. I think it is really well done. And like, yes, the like palette things have dried out, but I really haven't noticed much of a difference in like overall quality by any means or anything. Like, it still feels great to use, and I don't know, it's one of my go-to mediums that I like, which kind of brings me to one of the points here that, okay, so I don't think I'm going to use a sketchbook for gouache again, and it warped really bad. You can kind of see I did a warp test there, but I didn't realize that it was not a mixed media sketchbook until I looked it up and I was like making the script for this video, which I'm shocked that I got one of these, because I don't typically use not mixed media. So I'm a little confused as to what I did there, and I have two of them. So I hope this isn't a horrible process going through this. It hasn't been yet, but like I showed in the update, I think, that the edges are already kind of fraying, and I've only had this for 20 days active use, and for them to already be like to the state that they are, yes, I bring it everywhere with me pretty much, but like still, it should be a little bit more durable than that. But I definitely won't use it for the cover for the next one, because that was just horrible having to put so many layers on like that. All right. I kind of forgot where I left off, but yeah, I have mixed feelings about this sketchbook so far, and I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have to get through the whole thing before I give my full definitive answer, but I wish I realized it wasn't mixed media before I got it, is needless to say. But that's okay. I'll make do, and I don't need to use it. And I've already used, like, alcohol markers on it, and, like, that's fine. And I honestly, like, I don't really care if it warps all that much, because it just kind of makes it more character. But I do, like, prefer the mixed media paper, if that makes sense. But we're going to get interrupted with some dolphin facts. So they can communicate through whistles, echolocation, and social communication, where they like slap the surface of the water with their tail or body. And they also get high off pufferfish. So there's your dolphin facts for you. But we'll also slide into the orca facts, because you know what? One of the facts about the orcas, they're part of the dolphin family. They're not actually whales. They lied to you, but the giant white spot on their eye, or on their face, is not actually their eye. Their eye is like a deep black. And the big white eye is actually a way to intimidate little fish and, like, be a menace of the sea. And that's why they're, like, the killer whale, because, you know. And they will eat sharks, and they do eat whales if they're so hungry enough. And I remember when I was a kid, when I was obsessed with the orca, guys, remember this. I had a National Geographic almanac. And there was a page on orcas. And none of these facts these were all from my brain, from back in that almanac in, like, elementary school. So some things never leave. Yeah, so while making the boat, this kind of really, like, shows just the difficulty of, like, not having a lot of pigment. I started out using a really big brush, and I kind of did a bad job recording this part, so sorry about that. But I, like, did, like, a very, like, thin layer of it, just trying to get as much of the pigment down as I could with what I had. But I'm very impressed with how well I color matched and was able to, like, get it to look somewhat covered. And I wasn't too worried about how covered it looked, just because I'm going to draw more detail over top of it. So you're not going to, like, see all the patchiness of it, if that makes sense, after. And I don't know, sometimes trying to do a whole overly detailed drawing in the sketchbook just feels exhausting. And that's kind of like part of the creative fatigue from this week. Was just like, I don't know, it just felt like such a huge barrier, and so I had to, like, make it less of a barrier. And, like, I know how, like, treasure or pirate ships typically have more of the sails and stuff, but I was like, I don't know how I want to draw that. I don't have a whole lot of space for it, and I just made it look like there's the illusion of them there, and the sea has disintegrated the rest of them. So here is the lines now. So that's kind of what I meant with where I'm adding a little bit of detail. This is about as far as I go with the detail on the boat. I'll do some on the treasure chest, and then the dragon has like lines, like, hinted at as, like, those are the scales almost, where I, like, don't draw everyone, because it almost less is more sometimes. So that's kind of where I was going with this direction. And I added more detail with when I colored in the goals. They're different little sea creatures, so you'll see later, but the G is a jellyfish, the O is an eel, the A is a starfish, the L is a piece of coral, and the S is seaweed. So I use colored pencil on those later in the video, but and write the goals underneath it. But yeah, now I'm just outlining it. And then I actually am going to be using acrylic paint for the background. And I just do, like, a top and a bottom background. I don't do anything really overly complex for this one. But I'm really happy with how it turned out, actually. I think it looks very nice for just a cover page, like, just simple, very introductory kind of look. But so I kind of can't believe that I'm already on my 9th sketchbook. I started, like, actually using sketchbooks back when I had started high school, which was in 2016, and that was the furthest back one that I have with me. I know it's not the first one, but in the very beginning I wasn't counting, because I didn't think I would, like, have them. I think I started counting at 5, maybe. But it's really rewarding now, going back and seeing all the progress I've made, and just how much more I'm able to create stories and such symbolically rich, like, but it's really rewarding seeing all the progress that I've made, and especially now that I'm older and I like hear about these young artists in my life that are struggling with the same things that I was, where it's like not being able to draw people, or drawing from the imagination being really difficult, or like not being able to draw unrealistic things, or struggling with realism, or whatever it may be. But just, I truly believe that anyone can make art and is innately creative. You were just, one, never taught, two, told you weren't good enough, or three, never tried. And like, don't tell yourself you're going to be bad at something before you even begin. You're setting yourself up for failure. Why not just try and have fun with it? Like, accept the fact that you're not going to be good at it when you first try, and just have as fun of time as you can with it, because you know you're not going to be good. So why does it matter that you have to try so hard? Like, just have fun with it. I don't know. But I think it's really cool to, especially now that I've started like writing a fantasy series, of looking at like how symbolically rich everything is, and like subconsciously I have no idea why I chose these things, but I had an attachment to all of the different things of that, like all these different things that I drew, because I came up with the idea myself, and the more I look at it, the more I'm like, oh wow, there is like an actual message here behind the symbols if you think about what each different creature represents, because they're living things that have meaning and representation to us. So why did I choose these specific things? Well, they have a deep meaning to me as a child, and the shark as a example of reclaiming power and eating the word food, ancient energy and the like intensity of the chaos of the channel. Dolphins, all of the creatures on the cover are highly intelligent creatures, so all of them are representing intelligence, play, communication, emotions, the fact that art takes emotional capabilities and it takes intelligence to look beyond to use symbolically rich language to create a story. And especially for the dolphin, like creating this aspect of play, like to make it easier for myself, I didn't have to create this big masterpiece, but like the symbols I chose were rich enough that like it creates this whole story in itself. You just have to step back and be like, okay, what is this saying? And then the orca, deep knowledge, power, strength, memory and creativity, longevity. Females can live to up to 90 years. And for me, they're a sign of comfort, a sign of adventure, fun, childhood, fond memories, like the escapism of a vacation and going somewhere new. And I love traveling. I love the adventure of it. I love exploring new places, learning new things, like lifelong learner for sure. Manta ray, comfort literally means blanket in Spanish. Free-flowing, grace. I don't know. I just think they're very majestic beings, and they just look like they're just floating along. Oh, we didn't get any mana facts yet. Oh my gosh, manta ray. So they have unique fingerprint like spot patterns. They have the largest brain to body weight ratio of any living fish and are one of the most intelligent fish in the sea. They can weigh up to 2 tons and have a wingspan of 7 meters or 22 feet. And they go through these things called cleaning stations where they just stop moving. They open their mouths and gill and allow cleaner fish to eat the bad stuff on their mouth. And they repay the favor by not eating them. So, gotta love them. I think sharks do the same thing. So that's kind of cool. Not all sharks, but some of them do. But as I was like thinking about it like deeper in this, like the cover is showing all of these like creatures of intelligence and wisdom, and like we open the sketchbook, we have the dragon, the mythic like creature of wisdom and knowledge, and the number 9 where it's almost to 10, almost the completion of the the full cycle, and like showing like all of the knowledge that I've learned from these past sketchbooks is like it compiles upon one another. The resilience, the discipline, like I've had to make it through all those other ones to get here, and I've learned so many things. It's now finally about like applying it and now creating like my own story. Like who would have thought, like if I told little Oliver like back when they started Sketchbook in 2016 and it was like, hey, you're gonna be making like 9 of these and you're gonna actually be like fully writing a fantasy series in the time that you're in the 9th sketchbook, like I don't think I would believe you, with especially how much like knowledge and depth there already is to it, and I like have 10,000 words not even written yet. So we're still in the very early phases of it, but like the world building is going on, and that's where the knit and the grit and the stuff where you need to spend all that time in a fantasy world building. So I'm just really excited to see where this sketchbook goes, because it's already like symbolically rich, and there's so much intention behind it this time, and it's not just me like, I'm gonna draw this because I feel like it. No, it's like, oh, I want to work on learning nature stuff, so I'm gonna draw that. And oh, I didn't talk about my goals yet. Oh my gosh, the goals. Well, they're coming up where I talk about them a bit. But this time going around, it's my 9th sketchbook, and I've learned a few things about goal setting, and that's that you have to set specific, obtainable, but yet flexible goals. So typically I'll just do goals where like, oh, do figure studies, or fill the whole page, or color more. And I'm like, okay, but what does that mean? Like, that has no description to them, and it doesn't really feel like you can check it off. Like, the idea of a goal is to feel the accomplishment of what you've just accomplished, like what you have done. You've set out to do something and you have accomplished it. You can check it off. So yeah, here they are. Okay, so this is what it looks like finished with the gloss, or the sealer added. I'm glad I did it. The only thing is the orca kind of disappeared, but it already kind of wasn't there. It shows up a little better on camera though, kind of. Not really, but I'm gonna talk about my goals now. I wanted to set realistic, specific-ish, but still wiggle room for it. Iterate intentionally as one, and what do I want to write this? And I think I want the one subject, 5 different ways. And I want to do that, I'm gonna say times 5, so I want to do that at least 5 times. The next one, abstract concept. What I mean by abstract concept is words like silence, overflow, embrace. I did a project on that where you take a word that has not a lot of meaning to it and you make it have some symbolically, some meaning to it of some sort. We'll do 3 of those. And then I want to do something with backgrounds. And I think I want to study from film, because I'm not very used to drawing them yet. That's something that I definitely want to work on. And so I'm going to pick, we're going to do 5 of those at least. And then, do I want any more? I kind of want to do the anatomy. And we'll do we'll do 5 pages, and I think that's enough. That fits nicely down there. So yeah, that's the end of that. So overall look of the inside, and then the cover. Okay, it doesn't show up. It does show up. It shows up pretty not terrible on camera. You can kind of tell. You know, it's there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The Smash video will be coming out soon. I kind of want to do it as like the Halloween special. So upload it on Friday for Halloween. So make you guys wait just a little bit longer, because I don't know. I haven't finished that one that I technically didn't finish yet, but that won't take me very long. But I kind of want to do it as a Halloween special. So I think we'll stick with that as the plan. Make you wait a little bit longer for it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's see, what is your favorite sea creature? We'll ask, and you got to put that in the comments. Mine's definitely probably the shark at this point. I specifically like the hammerhead shark, and I really like the spots on them. I think they are the ones with spots, aren't they? Hang on, let me check my shark facts here. Hammerhead shark. I don't know, their face just looks so, like, look at this. Like, isn't that just beautiful? I don't know. I love a hammerhead shark. So, yeah, favorite sea creature. Yeah. So, all right. This has been Chaotically Creating. I hope you've enjoyed. Stay chaotic. That could be an ending. Stay chaotic. I like that. All right. Well, stay chaotic.